All right, welcome to Real Estate Success. I'm your host, Mena Badros, here today with Andre LaFountain. Andre, great to have you here
Yeah, welcome. Thanks for having me, Mina.
for sure. Andre, I'd love for people to get to know who you are. So, before getting into real estate and without mentioning your professional accomplishments, can you tell people who Andre is?
Well, father, son, father of two boys, married to my beautiful wife, Beth, since 30, got to remember that, right? 31 years. She was 14 and I was 16 when we started dating. So anyway, got into real estate in 1991 and was a solo agent at this. When I first got my real estate license, I also started working at a pharmaceutical plant where my mother and my father-in-law all retired from, kind of the best blue collar job in the town, basically. And because I was 22 years old, I knew it was going to take a minute to get my real estate business really growing. So I worked a full time job from 4 in the afternoon until midnight, Monday through Friday, and then sold real estate all morning up until 4. Did that for I think 4 or 5 years, and then went to the flex shift at the plant and worked Saturday and Sunday, Monday from noon to midnight, so I could sell real estate all week, the rest of the week. So I kind of did both jobs for 9 years. Um, Started off slow, 7 houses my first deal or first year, about 10 or so the second. Took me 7 years to get to 40 transactions, kind of working by myself. Then I got into coaching, hired a expensive high level real estate coach, and did half of what they told me to do, and went from 40 transactions to 79 that year with just me and a buyer agent. Then 109 transactions with the next year with an admin, and just kind of continued to grow that business for several years.
Awesome. I have two boys myself, so that's it must have been amazing just to watch them grow and continue to watch them grow. Um,
Yep.
why did you decide to hire a coach, or at what point did you decide, maybe it's a good time to get a coach?
Well, I mean, I was in real estate, like I said, for like 7 years, and it took me that long to get to 40. And you know, back then I probably wasn't really entrepreneurial minded, but we knew to get to the next level, you really need to hire a coach. And my business partner had heard about one that sounded like could be a good fit, so we went to a conference. Like I said, that was back in 1998, I think it was. Um, and got into their coaching program, and to get to the next level, you need to be surround yourself by other people that are at the level that you want to be at, so you can learn and shortcut the time, right? So that's
Sure.
why we did it, and it was one of the best things that we did. We started growing our business, and scaling it, and did it really well. My business was in upstate New York. I was up by the Canadian Vermont border, is where I lived for 40 years.
Okay. And where are you now?
As of right now, I'm in Florida. I moved from New York to Georgia back in 2009. That coaching company that helped me and my partner grow our business so well actually offered me a position to work with them as a real estate coach and help them grow their coaching business. And it was based out of Atlanta, Georgia. So my partner took over our team in New York, and I moved to Georgia in '09 and helped them grow their coaching business. Worked for them for about 5 years, and was kind of planning on retiring from there. I was like 49 years old, but the boss came in one day, kind of changed our agreement. So I said, well, let's take a look. The good Lord told me it was time to get back into real estate and grow my own business instead of somebody else's. And hadn't really heard about EXP, but my wife was a broker in New York and in Georgia, and I asked her, who do you know here in Georgia that loves the Lord and people more than money, and wouldn't give me the short end of the stick, like my last boss. So she gave me a name of a guy, and I called him up, and he had just joined EXP like a week or two before. So I met with him and his business partner, and looked at the model and started doing my due diligence. Um, What just happened? Oh,
Yeah, I think just lighting, but I can see you and hear you fine.
okay, good. Um, so it just made a lot of sense. I didn't even have my real estate license at the time because I just kind of let it go. I didn't need it to be a coach, so I had to get my real estate license, um, and I did here in Georgia, and then joined EXP in late January of 2019, I think it was. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. And are you back and forth between there and Florida, or?
No, I moved to Florida September 2 weeks before Hurricane Ian, believe it or not.
Right.
But my wife and I, our kids are grown and out of college and kind of on their own. So we decided to downsize. We bought our house in '09 when the market was low. And we said, why not sell it while the market was high? So
Right.
we put it on the market and sold it September of, when did we move here? Well, just the last September.
Hmm. Awesome.
Yeah,
So almost a year in Florida. Congrats.
yeah, yeah. September will be a year. So yeah, we're just our plan was to sell our house in Atlanta and then move to Florida, buy rent for a while, kind of figure out where we would like to live, and then buy a lot and build. And we actually just found a contractor just recently, and got a deposit down and going to be building a house down here.
That's awesome. Well, best wishes on that.
Thank you.
Why EXP? I mean, you looked at the model. Obviously, you have a lot of real estate experience, a lot of real estate coaching experience. What about the model that stuck out to you?
Well, for me, I was really impressed. Number one, with everything being cloud based. When I met with my uh, sponsor Levi, we are just kind of in a meeting, kind of sharing some stuff with me, and he said, "Let me show you how this EXP World thing works and how it's going to really kind of change the industry." He said, "I got some questions for the broker anyway." So we went online, and in a couple of minutes, he's talking to a broker in EXP World and got his questions answered in like a minute. And then he had another question for accounting, so he went over to accounting, and we were in and out of the world in 5 minutes, and he got his questions answered with live human beings that are right there on their computer, that work for the company as employees. And it's like, wow. I mean, we didn't have to jump in the car. Even for me to go meet him face to face, I jumped in the car. I drove
Right.
an hour because I lived an hour north of Atlanta. I drove an hour to meet with them. You know, we got our questions answered from the broker and accounting person within minutes. So it's like, this just makes a lot of sense. And then I started doing my due diligence, and you watch some videos and you kind of start figuring it out. But I just started talking to a few people, and when I looked at the stock ownership, giving owners, they're actually giving ownership to us agents. I was an independent broker owner with my partner, and we were the bosses, right? And our agents, we couldn't give them ownership. We couldn't really
Right.
provide a third of what EXP provides for us. Um, so when I was looking to get back into real estate, and I thought a little bit about maybe starting my own independent company again, but I realized, it's a lot of overhead, it's a lot of cost.
Yeah.
You have all the liability, and when we after doing our due diligence with EXP is like it's the best of both worlds because I can start a team, I can be my own boss, but I have the collaboration and support of my business partners at EXP, that we're all financially aligned through the program, that
Right.
they want to help you no matter what. Um, and then the 1,000+ employees that are at our fingertips, I could not lose any of my branding, right? EXP understands they don't want your branding, they want you, and you're the one who brings the business to the
Business.
company. And then finally, the revenue share. When I understood that, I knew being in the industry for 32 years as of right now, that if we could be financially aligned with all the agents that we try to help and never charge them a dime and get paid by the company through the revenue share, that could be a game changer for a lot of people. So those were all the reasons that I knew it was going to be a good fit, and it's been pretty phenomenal.
Awesome. Now, after making the transition, so those were all the good reasons that kind of attracted you to it. After you made the transition, what were some benefits or great things that you haven't thought of before or you weren't even expecting?
Oh, that's a great question. Um, I didn't really realize how much the collaboration and the help that you would get. I mean, I knew, my partner Levi and Dan and the other guys in my group would help me because they said they would, and they're nice, they're good Christian people, and I knew they would. But I didn't realize how anyone and everyone in the company that you'd ever reach out to would be willing to help you almost with no questions asked. Like today's really one of the first times. I know we talked. You said once before you had some
Right.
questions a few years back, and I answered them. Um, but you asked me to, be on this, and I just said, yeah, sure. You're at EXP. You want me to help you? I'm more than happy to jump on here. So I do that all the time, and I ask people as well to be on my podcast, and I never even met them before, but they're in the company, they're doing big things, and we reach out to them, and they're always happy to help. So that was eye opening, and I understand now being at the company why it's like that. It's because we all are owners, and if I can help you, Mena, and you sell more houses or help the company grow, we're all owners of the company. It's just going to make continue making the stock go up, and the stock goes up and goes down like all stocks. But
Sure.
in the long run, we're all owners, and what they say, rising tides raises all ships,
Yep.
and that's been eye opening for me.
Yeah. I mean, I love that about our company too, and I'm very grateful for you and your time. So thank you so much. Um, your real estate, career or what you do on a daily basis obviously has changed over the years, right? Starting
Oh
out
yeah,
helping buyers and sellers, and now you're at a different point. So how has it shifted, and what do you do now with your time in real estate?
sure. Yeah, when I was in New York, I was in the trenches, listing houses. I did buyers and sellers for those first, 7 8 years, and then when I got a buyer agent, I took care of all the listings, gave her the buyers, and that's how we kind of doubled our business and got the admin. And then I was managing my team and all. When I was in Atlanta, I was just a real estate coach basically, so not selling at all. And then, but when I joined EXP, sold a few houses, but here I was 40, what, 49 years old or whatever. Um, and I hadn't sold a house in 9 years because I was a coach, and I was starting kind of new in a new market in Georgia because my license and my business was in New York.
Right.
So I knew it was going to take a minute to get my business up and running again. So I actually called a friend of mine who owns a real estate company in Tennessee, and he had about 25 agents and two inside sales agents calling leads. And I called him up and said, hey, just left the coaching company and going to be starting. I've got to get my real estate license and kind of start from scratch. I know you want to build out your ISA department. Let me help you do that. I'll be one of your ISAs, and pay me a small salary, kind of so I can pay my bills. Right. I left my 6-figure, 9 to 5 coaching job. So it was good for him. It was good for me. So I was calling leads for him from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. I did that for about 6 months. And on the weekends and evenings, I was calling real estate agents that I knew because I've been doing this for 30 years, um, and asking them, if they've heard about EXP, and seeing who might be a good fit to partner with. And I was doing that a bunch. And I was call when I had a friend that was interested in learning more about it. I'd send him a video because I was working. I couldn't kind of do a Zoom. I just sent him a video, and then I'd follow up. And when they had questions, I'd get them on with my business partners, Jay Kinder and Al Stasic, Michael Race, um, and they would, answer their questions. And we started getting a few people that would join. I think I brought on like one person in 3 months, 3 people in 6 months. My first year, I had a total of 13 personal and 37 total. But within 6 months, Jay Kinder and Al said, "Geez, you're pretty good at this. Why don't we hire you as to be our ISA to help us build our EXP business?" So it was really good for everyone. I gave my friend notice, which he knew was coming at some point. And then I started working with Jay and Al and Michael, and I was their ISA for another year and a half. So basically, for 2 years, I was working from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday as an inside sales agent, and just very part time, weekends and evenings, I'd call up agents on the agent attraction side to share the opportunity with them. Because I knew it would be a game changer. And by the end of year two, while I was still working for those guys, I had 281 agents in my entire group at EXP. And then I gave the guys notice, I didn't need to work for the salary anymore. Making six figures within 18 months. So I decided to give them notice and they hired a new person. I trained him first to kind of take over my spot. And since February of 2020, 2021, I've been just working, on my own. And now my day is basically, calling agents to share the opportunity because it's been life changing for me. And the people that have seen this and joined with us and partnered with us, it's been life changing for them as well. And I spend the rest of the time coaching and training and just helping my agents in any way that I possibly can. Helping them reach their goals. If it's to sell more houses, if they want to go from 10 to 20 deals, we've done that. If they want to go from 20 to 40, we've done that. If they want to go from 100 to 200 with our teams, we've been able to do that. So we help our agents grow their businesses. And the best part is we don't have to charge them anything because, we get paid through the revenue share through the company. So it's been very, very rewarding.
Awesome. Now, when you say, it has changed your life, it's been life changing and also been life changing for other agents, can you maybe think of some quick stories or examples of how EXP has maybe changed your life or the lives of agents that you've brought on?
Yeah, for sure. Well, like I said, when I was a coach, it took me 5 years as a coach to get to a six-figure income. And I did that at EXP within 18 months, right? And
That's awesome.
now I'm earning 3 times what I was making as a coach, even at the highest level. So the income has been life changing. Plus, with this model being in all 50 states, 9 provinces of Canada, and 25 countries, as long as there's a phone and internet, I can work anywhere. That's why we moved to Florida. I didn't have to be in Georgia to continue doing what we were doing. But some of the lives that we've changed, yeah, a couple that really stick to the top of mind really quickly. The very first Canadian that I called was an old friend in Kingston, Ontario, Pierre. I reached out to him within the first, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, or 5 months of me joining, and just asked him, hey, had you ever even heard of EXP? And he said, no, never even heard of it. At that time, we only had 300 agents in the entire country of Canada. Okay. And he was an independent broker owner himself. He had his own company, had 13 agents. His team and him were selling about 225 homes a year. He sold over 100 himself, and he was working 80 hours a week to kind of keep everything rolling. And he was happy. He told me when I called him, he had his best year he ever had. And at first he was like, why would I really make a move? I mean, I've had my best year, got my own independent company. I just put my own $10,000 sign up on my building. Right. But he's a smart, intelligent person, and he understood the model somewhat, that it was very intriguing. So he kept on learning about it. And he told me afterwards, honestly, the reason he kept on looking at it was because he wanted to be able to say, yeah, why it would not work for him. But he wanted to be smart, not just say, yeah, I looked at it. Yeah, and dismiss it, because he wanted to know what's the competition going to be. Because I told him this is coming. We had 300 agents, and this was coming to Canada. So he kept looking at it. In the first 30 days, his question, the things that he would say was, why he couldn't make the move, why it didn't make sense. But the next 30 days, he was asking questions about, well, what about this? And if I did this, and then I just did what we always do, is get him to talk to one of our senior business partners, Al, who had his own independent company, just like Pierre. And from then on, Pierre mostly talked to my senior partner, Al Stasic. And they got to know each other well, and he answered all their questions, and they were on the same level as far as brokerages. And then he was really leaning towards making a move, because he could see how he didn't really love training his agents. His agents, he had brand new ones and some that were in the business 20 years. So they need different coaching and training. And he's busy selling 100 plus houses himself, right? So he knew that EXP's training could really help him. And with the stocks and the ownership and all the things that EXP offered, it was his son actually that his son told him that Dad, if we don't, I don't know exactly what he said, but basically paraphrasing, well, if we don't do this, um, or if we do this, what's the worst thing? If it doesn't work out, we can just start up our own independent company again. I mean, we can keep our signs, right? It's no big deal.
Right.
But if we don't do it and this thing explodes like it sounds like it should, we're going to be always wishing we jumped on that train when it was leaving the gate. So
Yeah.
we invited him to Orlando, the shareholder summit, almost 3-4 years ago, and he came. And after that event, they went right back home, and we made the change. And fast forward, he's been with us going on 4 years, but I did an interview with him just like this on his 3rd-year anniversary. And his 3rd-year anniversary, he told me that he went from 200 and some houses to over 500 and some houses.
Wow.
His team went from 13 agents to, at that time, 30 in his office. Today, he's got over 40 in his office. But his hours went down from 80 hours a week to 30, 35 hours a week. He loves golf, and all last year he golfed 3 times a week, which he never could have time to do that before. And he even bought a home in Arizona where they winter. So he runs the entire team from Arizona in the wintertime instead of freezing up in Kingston. But one of the best things, besides getting his hours from 80 to 33.5, he 5x'd his not gross income, his net income.
Wow.
Because now he had 30 to 40, 40 agents in his independent office. But at that time, he had close to 500 agents across Canada and the U.S. in his EXP organization. Today, I know he's got over 600. So him and Rick and a few other really great key players in Canada, I have over 600 people in another country because
awesome.
of reaching out to some of those people. And then another really great story is actually Pierre's son, Pat. He was working for his dad, but an independent agent, 3rd year in the business, 22 or 3 years old. He did 23 units on his 3rd year, better than I did. So he was good, aggressive, out there hustling. Right. Once they made the chain move, and he partnered up with us, and they got busy, getting involved in the coaching and the training and the stuff that our team offers and EXP offers. He came to EXPCon and to the conferences, and he just got busy learning and absorbing all the things that EXP had to offer. And his first full year at EXP, he went from 23 units to 60.
Wow.
And he had $90,000 at that time in stock in the company.
Company stock.
In company stock, yeah.
Right.
And now, I know last I heard, I think he's closer to 100 units this year. And I know he just got married recently and had a 30-day trip, out of the country.
That's very cool. Very cool.
That's changing people's lives.
Yeah, for sure. Let me ask you a few more questions about, EXP and agent production, and then we'll shift gears slightly. What makes agents kind of have that level of increase in production fairly quickly, right? You're saying, 10 to 20 deals, 20 to 40, 40 to 60 to 100. What is it that causes that great impact?
I don't think it's just one thing. But it's a bunch of little things. One is getting involved in the coaching and training and the systems that EXP and our group offers. I mean, we have training pretty much 4 to 5 days a week, private podcast, private Facebook pages that we have, and production training, etc. We bring in monthly someone to do a mastermind and somebody that's at a high level to teach, whatever's working in their marketplace. We're always getting together with our senior business partners and everyone in our organization, finding out, hey, what's working for you and what's not working. As the market's been shifting and changing, there's a lot of things you gotta change with the market, right? Sometimes it's getting back to basics. But one of the most important things that I can tell anyone is being consistent. Being consistent on whatever it is that you're going to do. It might not be the best thing, right? It could be door knocking, it could be cold calling, it could be, doing social media, but you got to do what you're going to continually, consistently do yourself. If you're only going to do it occasionally, if you're going after FISBOs or expireds or whatever it might be, if you're only going to call them occasionally, you're going to have mediocre results, right? But if you time block and say, okay, I'm going to call FISBOs or expireds, for 2 hours today, and you schedule it to do it 3 times a week or whatever it is, or if it's social media, you're going to do, one video every single day or whatever it might be. You got to be consistent. I'm not great at social media. I'm trying to get better and continue to improve, but I'm not afraid. I built my entire business on FISBOs, expireds, and just following up. The money's in the follow up, and it's follow up with past clients, following up with your family and your friends, and just being out there in the community. So I was good at follow up and just making the phone calls. And I had a guy that it was a FISBO, and I followed up with him 7 years. But then, and it was only a 2-minute, 3-minute conversation twice a year. It wasn't that big of a deal, but I followed up for 7 years. And then he ended up ready to sell his house. We sold that. We impressed him. Then I got his mother's house, and we sold his another relative's house, and we had a ton of business. But if most agents would never follow up with somebody for 7 years.
Right.
But that's what you do.
Let alone 7 days.
Yeah. So the money's in the follow up. So, but you got to be consistent. So I was consistent at making my phone calls to real estate agents, to buyers and sellers back then. And I didn't care. I could have 3 closings today, and that wasn't a good day. I mean, it wasn't a bad day, but a good day was I got all my calls done. If I had 50 calls that day to follow up and I got them all done, that was a good day, even if I didn't get any appointments, because I knew if you do the work, the end result will be listings, buyers, and deals down the road.
Right.
So when I got my calls done for the day, and I did that consistently every day, that was a good day. And those 2 or 3 closings a day came because of that. And then with agent attraction, we just do the same thing. And I'm even more passionate about it because helping buyers and sellers is great. It's a big deal, helping someone into a home. And I don't know if it's life-changing when someone buys a house. I mean, it is a big deal,
Right.
but it doesn't impact them as much as a real estate agent, for me, in my opinion, when I help them double, triple their business and their income, and it starts affecting their families. Like Pierre, I mean, I talked to Pierre, and his entire team is growing like crazy. His son, his family, now they have more time he has more time to spend with his wife and his kids, and even winter in another state, because I took my time out of my busy day to reach out to him because I cared about him enough to want to learn about what we're excited about the company. Some people think it's a bad thing if, it's a recruiting. It's a bad thing to call agents. Well, what they don't realize is, we're, human beings, hardworking people just like they are, and we're taking time out of our day to call them to find out if they've heard about the fastest growing company on the globe. And not to recruit them, just to find out, do you know about it? And do you know about it not just at a water cooler level that you've heard, everyone's heard about it by now, but have you sat down with someone and did the math and figured out if it could be a good fit? I get it. Most agents are happy where they are. They're comfortable, but comfortable is a death of growth. And if you don't grow your business until you actually get a little uncomfortable, right? And even if someone's super comfortable where they are, if they want to bring their business to the next level, or maybe they want their business to stay the same, but maybe want to work less or earn more, or maybe have an exit strategy. So when they want to get off that transactional treadmill someday and turn that dial from 10 down to 4 or 5, but keep your income at the same level, and they want an exit strategy so they can slow down, at some point in their life, do they have a good exit strategy? And with the multiple ways of earning income with EXP, we can share and show people how we can help them with an exit strategy and have passive income and ownership, et cetera. So when I call someone, I know in my back of my head and in my heart, I'm if they see it, if they're open minded and then they'll take the time and really take a look, it could be life changing for them as well. And if they're not open and they shut you down, I got people hang up on you and everything else in between. Um, I actually feel bad for them. I feel bad that they're not open to learn about what could be, financially life changing for them. I mean, once you want to know, have a friend call you up when Amazon came, opened up and said, "Hey, I think this is going to be the next biggest thing.
Yeah.
You might want to look into it and maybe invest." Or Apple or any of these amazing companies.
Right.
We've missed that boat. No one called me, about those things. No one even called me about EXP. I actually reached out to somebody, but I'm very thankful for the people that are open minded because they've been very thankful for me to taking the time to reach out to them.
Awesome. What do you think now? There's a lot of people been joining us for different reasons. What do you think are the big problems that kind of our model addresses, even for those who are good where they are, as you said?
Well, for if you're a broker owner, number one, it sheds a liability. So if your agent makes a mistake, that agent gets sued and the broker gets sued. Well, if you're as an independent broker owner, you move your company over with EXP, that same exact thing happens. It's the EXP and the broker of EXP gets sued, not that team leader anymore or that broker owner. So the liability, you lose the liability. You also lose a lot of the expenses because like we have KV Core lead generation system and SkySlope. Those two things alone cost about $1,000 a month for any broker to have to give to his agents. And the price is higher if he has a team, a team version of that. Well, that broker owner is going to be able to get that just for the same thing we do, $85 a month. It's nothing. So they can save a ton of money when it comes to, and those are just two systems. There's a lot more involved, but
Right.
the coaching and training that EXP offers 50 to 60 hours a week. And then in a lot of groups like ours, we have coaching and training over and above EXP that we offer for free to all of our business partners. The broker owner can, shed all that time and energy to coach and train his people. They can still do it, obviously, but we're here to help as well. So they can take their business that might be a well-oiled machine and doing really well, but lay it on top of the EXP platform and all of EXP's operations and take a lot of that stuff off their plate, time, energy, and expense, and they can focus on whatever it is that they want to focus on, sell more houses, golfing more, whatever it might be. Um, and it also opens up the door for them to not lose so many of their agents, because when you have really good agents and maybe they're doing one deal a month when they come to you, but you help them over their career and get them to 4, 5, 6 deals a month. And at some point, most of those entrepreneurial agents that went from 2 to 6 deals a month, at some point are going to come to their broker and say, "Thank you so much. I love you. I'm going to take you out to dinner," and all these things because you're friends. And they are friends, but hey, we're all in business for our family. We're in business
Right.
we leave our families every day to go work, make income to support our family. And at some point, it makes sense for an agent to open up his own independent company or start his own team. And then they leave that broker, right? Just like that broker probably left his old broker at some point.
Right.
And that's just the way life happens. And it kind of breaks the relationship, at least financially. You still might be friends, but now that that broker's competition, and they're in the same town, and now they're fighting for the same business. So financially, they're not aligned. But within EXP, when that agent is ready to step out and start his own team, that broker team leader wants him to do that and encourages them when they're ready to grow their business, start their own team, to do that, because they stay financially aligned. So that broker owner never his agents, he doesn't lose them. They can start their own company. They can even, I've had agents leave, go to different states, because their spouse left and
Right.
so they start selling real estate in a different state. Well, now they can stay at EXP, go to that other state or country, um, and still continue to be able to, work for EXP, and you're still financially connected. So
Yeah.
that's one of the things. And then on the agent side of things, I mean, the list just goes on and on, right? There's the health insurance. I know guys saving. I did a podcast with a guy the other day that had really, really high level, really good insurance, but was paying like $2,200 a month for it.
Oh wow.
And he joined EXP and switched to EXP healthcare, and he said he's got the same or even better coverage with. He had a $6,000 deductible at the other
Deductible.
company per person of his family. Now he has $1,000 deductible, and he has a better insurance, and it's only like $1,200 a month instead of for his whole family instead of like 2,200.
Wow.
Then of course you have the stock ownership. Agents don't have ownership in their brokerage, right? It's just a broker owner that does. Well, here, of course, we get stock, and we can have thousands, and I know agents have tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stock over their time of being at EXP, which is a big deal. Then all the coaching and training that agents have. I was spending, I don't know, when we first got into real estate and started growing our business, I had a top producer. So, and I paid hundreds and hundreds of dollars for that lead generation system. I paid for that coaching and training. We were paying, $1,500 a month just for those two things before a lead came in, right? Then you had your ad spend, and then, everything else that agents have to spend money on. You're getting all the stuff that we just mentioned and more as an agent for $85 a month. I mean, it's just endless of what agents are getting here. And the collaboration, like I said earlier, is like second to none. I know a lot of people that, Keller Williams are business partners with us now, and you hear a lot about how KW's collaboration and help is really, really good. And I know it is, but I've heard from those same people over here, the collaboration is even better. It's as good or better because we're all financially aligned, and your business partners above will take your call on Saturday evening at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock on the Sunday morning, because if they help you, like if you're just helping a friend at your company, okay, you're helping that friend, great.
Right.
But what do you get for it? Just the satisfaction you're helping them. But when you help that friend at EXP, it's financially helping you and your family. So you're okay to take those calls and work with them a lot more than you would before, when you're just kind of doing them a favor, because you're doing yourself and your family a favor, because it's helping grow the company that you actually have stock ownership in, instead of just helping the owner or the broker owner of the company win. At EXP, we all win.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot to unpack there. It's worth checking out. And as we say, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Um, we're kind of running out of time here. I know I went over, but if I could ask you one last question. One thing
Sure.
I've really admired about you, kind of following you for the last few years, is that you're a man of faith, and you display your faith. You don't shy away from it. How do you kind of find that balance of uh, I guess your faith, practicing your faith, and but also your real estate business and everything we have to comply with, and all of that, right?
Sure. Early to bed and early to rise. I get up at 5 a.m. Pretty much every day. On the weekend, sometimes I'll sleep in a little bit. For Monday to Friday, I'm up at 5, and I'm spending an hour with the Lord, and just reading and meditating, and just trying to listen to what direction He's pointing me in, and getting my attitude right, and being thankful and grateful, and starting the day off right. And then I'm on my computer at 8:45 with my virtual assistants, getting ready for the day, and then I got usually a full day, working till 6, 7, 5, 6, 7 o'clock, just kind of depending on the day. But I time block a lot of things, like working on my business. I time block We have Bible study every Tuesday night. So at 5:30 we're done. We eat dinner and we head out and go to Bible study. Um, you just gotta I time block pretty much everything. Date night with my wife every Friday night. You put in your big rocks first, right? Your family things, God and your family first, and you block that out, and you don't let anyone get in the way of that time. And then you're filling your business all around it. Your clients will certainly keep you busy, and you can fill out your entire day. So you have to put in God and your family in there first, and then your business will fill in all the rest of the time.
All right.
So just get really good at controlling your schedule. Don't let your schedule control you, and then you can have that that balanced life that we're sometimes it's a little bit out of balance. When I was working two jobs. When I was young, I even started doing it again. Right. So sometimes there's a little bit of seasonal unbalance,
Right.
but at some point, it all kind of evens out.
Awesome. Well, Andre, thank you so much for your time. I am grateful for this day. I'm sure people will get a lot of value out of it, and maybe we'll do this again. So, thank you once again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm here in Venice, Florida, but and you're located where?
I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm right outside. I'm in Berks County, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, fantastic. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, anyone listening to this, definitely reach out to Mena. It doesn't matter if you're in Pennsylvania or anywhere across the country or in one of the 25 countries that we're in, or reach out to myself. We're here to help in any way that we can. If you have a question about anything about EXP or how we can help you, you don't even have to be in EXP. If we can help you, reach out to me. My number is 518-569-7173. You can reach me, on Facebook, or I'm not so much on a lot of the other social media, somewhat. And the same thing with me. To reach out to us and let's answer your questions. The thing you don't want to do is think that you already know all about it because you heard about it. If you haven't sat down with somebody that's been in the company, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, somebody that's been in the company for a while, and they can really share with you what it's all about and show you the math. Most people really don't know what it can be about. So definitely you want to have people reach out to either one of us so we can help them.
Sounds good. Thank you, Andre, once again, and you enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Thanks for having
All
me
right.
on your show.
For sure. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.